Hey guys, Justin here, and today's show, Law of Attraction. I'm so excited to bring this one to you. I've really looked forward to it. So again, I'm Justin Dunn, American Mustang School. This girl here happens to be Cinnamon. A lot of you might know her, Cinnamon Girl, from that famous YouTube video that I shot of Emma and her going up the driveway in Colorado. Well, it's been a while since we shot that video, and a lot of things have changed. So I want to bring you up to date, so to speak, on what we've learned, how we've grown, how we've developed, and understanding what I'm going to share with you on this video and how you can apply it to your life. This number 7th law of attraction. Number 7 represents perfection. And in a lot of ways, I chose Cinnamon today to bring you a kind of a perspective on what perfection might be at our stage in life, at any given stage of life. If you're as curious about it as I am, you came to the right place. If you're led to this video to watch this, it's at the right time. I've been wanting to make this particular video for a long time, but I wanted to deliver the best information possible. So why do we even need to know these laws? Well, there's a few reasons. Character development, manifesting something that doesn't exist, understanding past, present, future. But the single two most important reasons. One, you want to learn how to not get hurt in the game of life. You want to learn how to benefit in the game of life. I utilized horsemanship as a microcosm to learn the game of life and apply it to the macro in understanding life, all areas of life. Horsemanship has been such a blessing to me. I've been with horses since I was 5 years old. You're going to see a pattern in this video of 5. 5 represents transformation, represents a lot of things, freedom and change. It represents the combining of masculine and feminine. It's a beautiful number. And today is special. Today's a special day because it's my mom's birthday. And I happen to be a life path 5. So is she. And I think that's just so interesting. Why is this important? That's the ever reoccurring question in my daily walk in this life, Earth, 3rd dimension, 3rd density. It's why? Why are we here? Where did we come from? Where are we going? What's the point? In horsemanship, I got to have conscious contact with those answers. The answers are vast, but I'll single it down to one, and it's love. You want to learn how to love, you want to learn how to be loved, and learn how to give love. It's the golden rule. Treat others as you'd want to be treated. And that brings us into the understanding of law of attraction. Whenever I attracted this horse, I got this horse given to me, so to speak, in a draw for a contest, a Mustang makeover, actually Mustang Magic. And I didn't pick her, but I attracted her, and I know that now, all these years later, because she came to me in a time of my life that I needed to grow and develop into something I am today, which I will continue to grow because of her and all the horses I've got to experience time with from getting an acquaintance or a relationship developed with her, and all the horses I will in the future. So this law of attraction is a really beautiful law. It's one of the laws that's really crazed about, a lot of craze about it. But I don't know if it's really understood, because you can know about the law and then you can know the law. And I wrote a book on this. Horses help guide us in knowing the law. We get conscious contact with nature. Horses are the gateway or the doorway or the guide through nature. I've literally been on this horse's back in the mountains of Colorado, distant from any man-made dream or effect, and I got to live in causation. I got to live in our harmonious balance, flow state with nature. And Cinnamon was my guide. Cinnamon was that instrumental part in helping me grow and develop in an awareness. Awareness is the life skill everybody needs. It's a higher level of consciousness, and it'll help you gather information, be able to see it, the hidden secrets nature's hiding from us. We have to open our hearts and our minds to that. We have to connect those. And Cinnamon was very instrumental in helping me do that. I can remember a time where I was so closed off, and now thinking back to that, it's like a little scary. It's like, wow, I almost missed the point of life. I almost missed my calling in this life to provide a purpose that I'm very passionate about. But I had to realize I can't force that. I can't take it. The microcosm of horsemanship showed me I cannot force her to do something. I can't take anything from her. I have to ask for it. I have to become what it is I'm trying to attract. And that's love. And we'll go into a little bit more detail here. When you live in love, it's the opposite of judgment. So we judge ourselves, and that binds us, that imprisons us at the level of judgment that we bind ourselves in. I'll give it to you this way. If you see outward something that you judge, you actually become that. You've heard, do not judge lest you be judged. That's a real thing. It's not like we're being judged by an entity. We're not being judged by something other than nature in a way, but we're judging ourselves. We're binding, we're limiting ourselves. We're suppressing our imagination. We're limiting ourselves to grow and develop into a higher level of consciousness. We'll go deeper into this, but just as an example, whenever we are in judgment, it causes anger, causes fear, causes guilt, because you feel bad about getting angry, causes a shame. You feel shame for doing what it is that you got angry about, maybe. That fear, guilt, shame leads to blame, which is judgment. You're going to blame outward for the situation that we find ourselves in. Here's how we rise above it. Horsemanship helped me discover this, the ability to rise above it. And it's simply thinking and doing to become what it is you want to attract. If you want love, be love. If you want to attract kindness, be kind. And then there's the alternative. If you want the alternative, be that. You'll attract it. The universe or nature is a balance. That's kind of like the scales of judgment are represented by a balance. The scales. If you think of it as a math equation and you plug in variables equals an outcome, you get to test that in a microcosm with horsemanship. And I designed an interactive system to get predictable results, desirable results in my 5-part series, in my 5 levels of communication with horses. That 5 again, pay attention to that. So this interactive system helps us think, which we can manifest by doing, and it becomes a manifestation, a reality. Like attracts like. It's a simple concept, but we complicate it because we want to not pay attention to those other laws that we've already talked about, law of compensation. It's a gradual progression toward harnessing all the power of the laws to create the life you want to attract. So this law of attraction, very important to understand. So we've been taught from a young age that nature rejected us. Society has created a perfect system to do that. You know, we're conditioned by our parents, that were conditioned by their parents, that were conditioned by their parents, programmed by the school systems, programmed by institutions, and led to believe certain things from a very young age. through adulthood. If we allow that, then we, in a sense, willingly accept that identity. What I'm here to tell you is we are nature. We harmonize with it. We have free will, which free will essentially is our destiny. So our free will to choose. If we choose a higher level of consciousness, walk down the path of that, or we choose a lower level, be anchored in the earthly bounds, we can choose that too. Horses help us connect mind and body. What am I thinking? What am I doing? What am I presenting to the world? What am I presenting to the horse in a micro? Exercise that, practice daily renewing of the mind and the body and the spirit. Balance, harmony, agreement, flow state, and then allow that to be what we attract in life, in the micro, in the macro, in the big picture. So nature is in balance. It's already there. It's in agreement. And we'll call that the macro, the big picture. We go and do something to offset the balance. Well, it's an equal and opposite reaction. You know, it's almost like if you go in and you try to say, let's just stick with math, you know, +5. Universe just responds with -5. Keep the balance. If you get upset at that, if it causes you anger, you know, guilt, shame, fear, just know that it's the consequence for upsetting the balance. If you flow in nature, flow in balance, you will not get upset. You will only ascend in love. You will only reach that higher level of consciousness to where you are aware and there's no judgment. You can experience life as it is, not for as you think it should be, or you're not willing to make changes to adapt to what it is. Horsemanship allows us to do that. See, in developing a relationship with a once wild Mustang that lived in nature in the perfect balance, came into the human element in perfect balance, I had to present myself to perfect balance. When I upset that balance, there was a consequence. I could either get mad or I could be willing to change and align myself with the laws of nature, present accordingly, and create an attraction or a willingness in her to be attracted to what it is I was wanting to do. When we harmonize or agree that way, there's no limits. Then they'll actually start doing things you cannot expect. You can imagine it as best as you want, and I promise you, align with the laws of nature, it's better than you can ever imagine. She does things for other people I could never have imagined her being able to do. She does things for me, for my children, for my family. Every child, every adult that's ever experienced her has something that I couldn't create nor destroy, and she's willing to give because all the alignments are in flow. When we align, we harness all these powers of these laws for good. And it's just that simple. This third dimension, earth dimension, is quick, man. It's contrasting. It's good and evil. It's light and dark. And it's very quick, so you can make a decision very quick. It's rigged in our favor, I will say. There's more good that's going to come from experiencing the game than bad. I mean, you've got to even admit, you've probably felt good way more than you've ever felt bad. So we really have an innate ability to move away from something bad very quickly. But sometimes we return to it and repeat it. Well, when we ascend, raise our level of consciousness to a higher level of consciousness and love, we don't drop so far, so fast, and definitely don't stay there so long. And that's that renewing of the mind daily. Horses are accountability partners. They help us do that. My 5 levels teach that. Level 1, grooming for mindset. First thing we're going to do is check in our inner self. Like, how are we thinking? What are we feeling? What's our attitude? What is my action? What am I perceiving as myself and then presenting to the world? So in a micro, what am I perceiving myself and presenting to my horse? Observing feedback, ability to make changes, present again. So here's the judgment. We as people, based on conditioning and programming from a young age, whatever level you are in your life, we're very judgmental on ourselves for making a mistake or for messing up or for sinning or missing the mark. I heard it the other day, man. It's like this. If you're riding your horse and you go off the trail, you're not going to beat yourself up like, oh my gosh, man, I just went off the trail. I went off into the woods. Oh man, I'm such a loser. It's just not something you want. You don't want to go to that level of consciousness. It's going to be of no value. You just simply course correct. Level 5, we develop an awareness in the feedback loop of what we're thinking, what we're feeling, what our attitude is, and what our actions are. We're watching feedback from our horse, and we're maintaining that in a microcosm, me and the horse. And I simply course correct. I ask her to get back on the path that we were heading on. We don't beat ourselves up, judge the horse, judge me, none of that. It's just simple course correction. That's the macro. That's what we do in life. We judge ourselves so hard for making a mistake. We sink into a lower level of consciousness, into fear, guilt, shame, and then blame. It's not what we should do. And how do we practice that? You can read every self-help book you want. You already know about all the stuff you're going to read. You have to have conscious contact with it to know it. Knowing about and knowing are two different things. Horses allow us to have a conscious contact with something, sincerely present something truthfully and honestly, accept the feedback, being willing to change, to become better, to ascend. And the horse steps right up and is willing to guide us. They are nature. We are nature. We are harmonizing at frequencies that you may or may not understand. And we can go into that in future videos. But I'm here to tell you, it's a resonance, law of resonance, that they understand, we understand on such a deeper level than can be explained with words. So why? Why all of this? What for? Well, you want sustainability, you want growth, you want development, you want ascension, you want to go to the next level. It's been said in many, many different religions and spirituality modalities. You want ascension into the next level. You want to go to heaven. You want to go to a place where there's value. It's easy. You want to go to a place of love. You want to go to a place that's in agreement and harmony. The laws of polarity aren't so far apart. And you can, man, it's such a deep concept. You can actually become something that you probably were taught you can't become. And I hesitated on saying this, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Our very first video, Law of Divine Oneness, there is one. Broke apart into many to get perspectives, to gather information, to become more, to not be alone. You will feel your purpose here, ascending. Quicker you can ascend, the better. But I will caution you, it is gradual. Skill and experience, and the challenge is flow state, if those maintain equilibrium. Pretty close to equilibrium. That flow state in all areas of your life, your health, your wealth, your happiness, your relationships, your spirituality. All of those are not forced, they're not taken, they're attracted to you through this law of attraction. If you want to become something you're not, you have to think it, do it, to become it. I learned this since I was 5 years old, I'm 48 years old, with horses. And developed 5-part series. It's a series of 5 questions I'll ask any and every horse to get a deeper understanding of that horse. I'll allow the horse to get a deeper understanding of me and developing this relationship that I want. Because see, they're just fine out in nature, eating grass, pooping, swatting flies, procreating, nurturing the earth, serving. When we invite them into the human element, but we align with the laws of nature and abide in them, they get to add more value to the service they want to provide because they have a voice in the human element now. And they are willing to give something that I can't take or force them to give. So it's life enrichment for both of us. The animals aren't here for what a lot of people think. They're not dumb. They're not unintelligent. They are probably connected on a much higher consciousness level from birth than even us. We start to lose that. And I heard a little story and I want to tell you, and it's very emotional for me because I can kind of remember this happening to me at age 5. This doctor, real busy, had a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, and COVID hit, and he had to work from home. So he gets up early to go meet with patients on the Zoom call thing, and 6-year-old dashes by to go to the 3-year-old's room, and he's like, wow, that's interesting. Let me go see what's going on there. Opens the door and sees a 6-year-old at the foot of his 3-year-old's bed. And he hears him say to his little brother, wake up, tell me what it's like. I'm starting to lose memory of it. When we're little children, we're so connected to spirit. We're so balanced in our mind, body, and spirit. We have no limitations. Our imagination is open. Our hearts are open. The 5 parts of our body, our crown chakra, are our head, our arms, our legs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gathering information, opening, and as we get conditioned and programmed, start to close off and forget. We bind ourselves by our belief systems. We're trapped, so to speak, in an earthly design, and we disconnect from spirit. We disconnect from the infinite source of information, which is the law of divine oneness, the purpose, the division of one to go and attract or add information to become wiser, to become more. So I was taught, in most of my life here in America, I don't know where you are, but here in America, I was taught seeing is believing. You have to see it to believe it. Well, I'm here to tell you that's not the way it works. I've practiced horsemanship for so long, when I would think it and see it and do it, it became. So it's think it, believe it, then you see it. I learned that with this horse here. And if you've ever watched any of my demonstrations live with her, or, wherever we've been, I tried different things with her that were not traditional. As an example, get ropes on her face first and then start asking her questions and then get onto her back. Well, I decided, let's try this. Instead of doing the bitless bridle first, let's just get on her back, and I'll just pretend that we start with legs first. We just steer her with legs. And I believed I could do it. And then I saw it happen. So believing is seeing. The unseen things in this life are really real because you feel them on a much deeper level than just seeing them. So our 5 senses get maxed out, then we develop a 6th sense. As I explain in my book, it's the source of all infinite information you have access to if you're open to it. I don't know how many hours I've spent on the back of this particular horse or the backs of other horses in nature, in their element, being guided to open my heart and my mind for information that I did not possess, or at least I didn't remember possessing. And that is a beautiful thing. So thinking, doing, becoming, attracting what you are allows you to harness the power of all these laws to where you're limitless. You imagine it, you can become it and attract it. This law of attraction is really real. So I designed this 5-part series of communication. I ask this horse mechanical questions, but I'm discovering a deeper understanding of them and vice versa. But the beautiful thing about that is I got to discover myself, self-discovery. And the neat thing too is she got to discover herself in this relationship, because predator, prey, man, horse, male, female, all these things, they get understood in these relationship building, in this law of attraction, law of cause and effect, law of action, law of polarity, law of gender, which we haven't talked about, but we will, and I plan to bring her back in for that one. These 5-part series reveals opportunity and preparedness. People will call it luck, but we are going to prepare, and then when the opportunity arises, we seize it. We reap what we sow. And then people outside looking at that is like, oh, you're just lucky. You just got I've had them say this to me. You just got a 1 out of 10. You just got lucky. A horse that can do what she's capable of doing. I can ride her bareback and bridleless, and I do it at demonstrations and shows. And it kind of is neat and wows the crowd, but it's just another little mantra that we made between each of us, to where she has more freedom. I don't have reins on her face. She doesn't even like it. She's like, why do I need that? I'm like, well, you don't, but let me just show you in case something happens to me and somebody else gets you and they need to ride with you. In fact, she does take a lot of people riding and they use reins. But she's one of those that's like, man, I'm of higher intelligence. We've already graduated up to calculus. I don't really need to do algebra. But she tolerates kids riding her with reins. She tolerates beginners riding her with reins because we use a bitless bridle, no metal in her mouth to cause interruption, cause pain, go to that fear, low consciousness state, doubt, confusion, resentment. She can operate at a higher level of consciousness because we didn't obstruct her. And that's the point. That's the point of law of attraction. I wanted to attract a horse like this that would benefit all whoever came into conscious contact with her. This is a form of conscious contact you're getting with her. Technologies can be really cool because we have the ability to share information far and wide. And I encourage you to seek out good information, improve all of it, and hold on to what's good. So going through this 5-part series, we learned balance. Balance meaning the masculine, the feminine, the strength. Where is the truth, strength, and at what time is it needed? And then go into rhythm to create the most efficient and effective way of alignment in laws of nature for the relationship to sustain long term, but also grow at a level that otherwise wouldn't. It would be so limited if we didn't. Now, this 5-part series is a mantra. It's something that we do in a meditation, a meditative state. When I'm not teaching someone how to do it, it's very quiet. It's very calming. It's not racing around chaotically. It's moving with purpose and intention to interact on a level of discovery and mastery. And I'm not talking about me mastering the horse, mastering myself to attract the horse to me. And then in turn, she does the same thing. And we align and harmonize. And we create this relationship that would not have existed unless we did that. So I talk about the now and the future. What we do now prepares us for the future. But we're doing now what we want in the future. That's freedom. So as a little boy, I played with the horses. I had jean shorts, cut-off jeans shorts, no shoes, t-shirt, bareback, running the sands of Oklahoma, swimming in the ponds. And it was a preparation for today. And I didn't really realize it, but that was freedom. I was limitless. My granddad just said, go, be a kid, get dirty. I got to go in nature and I stayed in nature. Swimming, fishing, running across the pasture barefooted. My feet were so calloused, stickers didn't even matter. And when they did, you just kick them off and keep going. You know, oh, watch out for that cactus. You know, you'll learn, move in harmony through nature. Learn how to play the game and benefit from it, not get hurt. That 5-part series of communication, we learn love. Learn how not to judge. I would present myself to the horse and things wouldn't go well. Rather than judge, I would ascend to love and be willing to change and present again, observe feedback. When it was desirable, pay attention, keep it. When it's undesirable, move away from it very quickly. Be willing to change. Do it again. Focus on what I want rather than what I don't want. So if I presented something to the horse and it was undesirable, I'm aware of it, but I'm not going to focus on it. Because when you focus on the thing you don't want, it becomes what you want. Which sounds weird, but let me say it a little different. When you focus on what you don't want, it's as simply as focusing on that thing. If I don't want her to kick out at me, I'm not going to focus on her kicking out at me. I'm going to quick change it, which the law of energy, transmuting energy, we'll talk about later, but it's the ability to say, I'm upset, I want to be happy, and do it. That's it. So it's like, how do we practice that? I got an accountability partner here. I'm going to practice this. I'm going to attract what I want to see by becoming what I'm trying to attract. So I'm not going to focus on her kicking out at me. I'm going to focus on how beautifully she's moving in a circle. I'm going to focus on my breathing. Top end of the breath, bottom end of the breath, relax the shoulders. Open, be willing to change and ask a different way. Wash, rinse, repeat. Gradual expectation of growth, which always goes faster than you expect. In that 5-part series, we're going to learn health. Learn about our health, mental and physical, mind, body, spirit, balancing those. So there's a man and there's a horse in this 5-part series. She gets discover, self-discovery. I get discovery, self-discovery. We get to contrast those. We get to align them. We get to draw together. I get to see a perception of what I think I am, and then a perception from her of what she perceives I am. And then I get to make an assessment. Am I that for which I am thinking I am? Or do I want to change and become better? And then it gets easy. It gets automatic because we create a character through habit. So whatever a person is thinking, they're usually saying. Whatever they're saying, they're usually doing. Whatever they're doing, they're usually creating a habit. Whatever that habit is, it's manifesting into their character. Do that long enough, ascension becomes easy. Not to say that you're not going to ever struggle again, but you're going to do it temporarily, and you're going to harness these laws of nature for power to change and bounce back quickly. It's not going to affect you like it would if you didn't know what I'm telling you. And I promise you this. I can promise this because I have had conscious contact with it. I've lived it. It works. I teach this to thousands of people, and I get to witness it over and over. It's unique. It's unique. It's not the same for everyone. And that's the law of divine oneness, the parting of many to get different perspectives. I mean, if we want truth, how do we get it? We've got to have many perspectives on whatever it is we're wanting truth on. What is the truth in horsemanship? What's the best way to do it? Who is the best? Well, I'm here to tell you, we need all the perspectives. It's like, it's a body of one. It's the hand can't tell my foot that it's not a part of this body. It does a different job to help the body do what it needs to do. So in horsemanship, prove all things and hold on to what's good. That is the truth. There's so many perspectives, and they're all needed, even if you want to label them bad. It has to have a contrast to know that it's good. So it's in essence, it's like, okay, we can see that. We can move away from that, or we can learn from that and not do that. And that's the benefit of the game. How to learn not to get hurt. These laws of nature are put here to help guide us. These guys live in it. They know it. I've been around these wild horses a long time. They've sustained life a long time in agreement and harmony. They're unobstructed by man. That's what a wild horse is. It's like a wild flower that just grows out there. Man didn't go plant it. It's unobstructed by man. So here's the thing. How do we do this? How do we practice this 5-part series with our horses? How do we understand it even if we don't have horses? How do we apply it to our life? You've got to accept all parts of yourself. And you've got to learn to balance them. The consciousness of fear, the consciousness of confidence or courage. Know the difference. Balance them. It's okay to fear. It's meant to happen. You have to struggle to learn to course correct. You have to make a mistake. You have to. That's the game of life. But look at it as like, wow, this is a learning experience that I'm really going to grow from. I want to go through this, but I want to move beyond it quickly and become better, move faster, further, become stronger, more sustainable for the next event. And then you start to develop skill, you develop experience, and then the challenges don't look so hard. You know you're not going to go jump into a huge challenge where it's just going to make you fail. It's gradual, it's incremental. You learn that. And it's okay to make mistakes. Stop judging yourself so hard when you do. I learned that from these guys. They don't judge me near as much as I judge myself. And we'll go on into other judgments. They don't care if I'm rich. They don't care if I'm poor. They don't care if I'm black, white. They don't care if I'm CEO of a Fortune 500 company. They just don't care about those things. What do they care about? They care how much you care about them. How do you prove it? You have to care about yourself. Go inward. Thoughts and emotions. Present outward. Attitude, action. Create the feedback loop, the relationship. Be willing to change. On a micro with you and the horse. Practice is perfect in an imperfect world. And then you can do it on a macro in all areas of your life. You can go out. What you learn with them, go out and do it. Why? Again, we ask why. It's an awareness. Develop an awareness. To ascend. Open a spiritual awareness. As above, so below. Earth, the above. You'll have a spiritual awakening. I have continued to do it. It's a free gift. I didn't take it. I didn't force it. I became it and attracted it. It's so easy to follow that golden rule. Love the one with all your might. Love your neighbor as yourself. Where do you practice that? Of course you could do it with people, but it gets a little difficult because in the human world, there's so much garbage to trudge through. These guys are so clean. There's such a pure and true and honest state to contrast against or with. And then realize they're not doing this to you. They're doing this for you. And then it becomes alive. It's real. It's felt. It's absorbed. And key to self-mastery is attaining that highest level of understanding and awareness. So balancing ourselves will harness the power of all the laws. And it's gradual. I wrote a book about this called A Horse to Guide Me. You can build a miracle life. I learned it through Mustangs, wild horses, once wild horses. I was the first person to touch her. And they taught me the most about myself. They taught me the most about life and how to navigate this life in all areas: health, wealth, happiness, relationships. And I'm here to say, other than happy birthday to my mom, kind of a tribute video to her, until we know how to get our own power from nature, we will continue to suffer, individually and collectively. We will never release the pain from trauma, from the programming, the conditioning. We will never be able to attract what it is we truly want. I heard it put like this: trauma has been pushing us, but when you get the vision of love, it will attract and pull you toward it. So just realize that you can ascend from the anchors of earth to a much higher level of consciousness. Horsemanship did it for me. There's probably 1,000 videos that you could go watch on explaining this. I went to go look to see, if there were. I couldn't find any, but maybe you can. I hope this helps you, and I look forward to bringing you more videos. So Cinnamon, I want to thank you on this video and in real time, real life right here. Thank you so much for helping me with this video. And you've just been an amazing little horse. Give you a belly scratch. I love you so much. Yes, I do. I love you so much. You're such a good girl. All right, stay right here. I know you want to come with me. I'm going to turn this camera off. All right, guys. Bye-bye.